I just want to know what you're doing, because another advantage of federal bureaucrats is that they can't have conflicts of interest, whereas you seem to have every conflict of interest. SpaceX has government contracts. Tesla is under government oversight. X is under government investigation. And his hair plugs are being investigated by the Department of No One's Buying This. You're basically a walking conflict of interest. Is that not a huge problem?
Oh, you thought Elon Musk was untouchable? Think again. Jordan Klepper just took him down a few pegs, and trust me, it was hilarious. From SpaceX to Twitter, Klepper had a field day, and you're not going to believe what he said. So buckle up, because this roast is hotter than a Tesla supercharger. Will Musk recover from this, or is he officially down for the count? Let's dive into the chaos.
Is having this one unaccountable bureaucrat in charge better than having those other unaccountable bureaucrats in charge? Because at least the others have to follow transparency laws. The only thing transparent about Doge is Elon's skin. I mean, his financial disclosure is being kept secret. Doge is exempt from open records laws. And when someone on Twitter merely identified some of the people who work for Doge, Elon suspended their account and said, "You have committed a crime." Elon, I gotta tell you, I don't think you're being that transparent.
Elon Musk, the man, the meme, the myth. If you've been living under a rock, or more accurately in a space pod orbiting Mars, you've probably heard of him. A guy who's somehow convinced the world he's a genius, despite spending more time tweeting nonsense than actually, solving world problems. We all know him as the head of Tesla, SpaceX, and apparently the sole arbiter of what's funny on the internet. But lately, the man who once seemed like an unbreakable titan has been hit with a brutal yet totally deserved humiliation. Enter Jordan Klepper.
Finally ask Elon, why are you doing this?
If the people cannot vote and have their will be decided by their elected representatives in the form of the president and the Senate and the House, then we don't live in a democracy, we live in a bureaucracy. So it's incredibly important that the president, the House, and the Senate decide what happens, as opposed to a large, unelected bureaucracy.
Wow. What? Wow. I mean, you see why this guy's a genius. You don't want an unelected bureaucrat running the country. It makes a lot of sense. No questions here. I do have one question, though. Isn't that you? I mean...
You might know Klepper as the guy who walks into Trump rallies and makes even the most passionate MAGA supporter question their life choices. Well, he's back, and this time he's taken on the self-appointed tech king, Elon Musk. No, this isn't some Silicon Valley-themed roast session. Klepper didn't just toss out a few jokes and call it a day. Oh no, he completely obliterated Musk. And trust me, it was delicious. If Elon Musk is the universe's self-proclaimed genius, Jordan Klepper is the guy with the "I told you so" shirt, and he's ready to hand it out.
So this was already a pretty unusual thing for a president to do. But Trump being Trump, he had to make it even more ridiculous by introducing it with a full-on circus act in the Oval Office. And look at this scene. Musk is holding court with his hands tented like a Bond villain, probably to stop him from doing a Nazi salute, with his 4-year-old child in tow. I mean, that poor kid. His dad literally runs SpaceX, and Elon took him to a meeting on federal spending. Dad, are we going to get to see the rockets? No, son, we're going to discuss budgets because I'm a shitty dad.
Musk's entire persona is built on a very shaky foundation of, I'm smarter than you, but in a way that makes me seem quirky and down to earth. He tweets like a kid hopped up on sugar, makes business decisions like he's playing Monopoly with other people's money, and somehow convinced the world that he could single-handedly save humanity. But Klepper's takedown wasn't just about pointing out Musk's absurd decisions. Oh no. Klepper went straight for the jugular, skewering the myth of Elon Musk with the kind of precision that makes you wonder why Klepper isn't running for office instead of Musk.
Maybe people are mad at you because you don't seem to know what the you're doing. I'm guessing. Because you fired aviation safety staff, then you had to hire them back. You fired nuclear safety inspectors, then you had to hire them back. You cut funding for Ebola prevention and then said, oopsie.
One of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly was Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention.
Yeah, I if someone just accidentally cut it, I think we'd all be pretty mad. I might even Banksy some Third Reich ejaculates. Look, I could come up with more reasons, but let's be honest. Elon knows why people are mad at him.
Let's talk about Musk's greatest hits, shall we? The one-man band of chaos that is Tesla. The company, which prides itself on revolutionizing the auto industry, has also built its reputation on the back of accidents waiting to happen on four wheels. But Musk's real stroke of genius came when he decided to tweet that he was taking Tesla private, without a shred of actual planning or forethought. We're talking about the CEO of one of the world's most valuable companies just casually tweeting stock manipulation as if it was his daily morning coffee order. It's the business equivalent of pulling a fire alarm and expecting everyone to admire your ability to predict chaos. Of course, the SEC didn't exactly shower him with gold stars for that stunt, but hey, who needs regulatory compliance when you've got memes, right? Now, what Klepper did that was so glorious was not just poke fun at Musk's ridiculous tweets and impulsive decisions. He exposed Musk as someone who can't handle any kind of serious scrutiny. Musk's response? Silence. Absolute silence. Imagine a guy who built his entire brand around being the visionary genius with all the answers, now suddenly hiding behind his "I'm too busy changing the world" excuse every time someone questions him. It's like watching a toddler who was told they can't have another cookie, and now they're sulking in the corner, hoping the world will forget they just ran a red light.
Maybe getting things right isn't this administration's top priority. They have a crisis on their hands. Tesla stock is in the toilet. And they can't let that happen. They cannot... Crisis. They can't let that happen because Elon Musk is a key member of the Trump administration. And more importantly, Republican Party sugar daddy. So, last night they sent Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to Fox News to make a pitch.
I think if you want to learn something on this show tonight, buy Tesla. It's unbelievable that this guy's stock is this cheap. It'll never be this cheap again.
But it gets better. Let's talk about SpaceX, because nothing screams "I'm a genius" more than firing rockets into space like you're playing Kerbal Space Program in real life. Don't get me wrong, the guy's built some incredible stuff, but just because you can shoot a car into space doesn't mean you're the hero of the century. Let's take a step back and acknowledge that Musk is the kind of guy who thinks he's changing the game by building a giant vacuum cleaner in the sky. Musk doesn't want to be seen as a tech mogul, he wants to be seen as a savior. And that's where Klepper's sarcastic brilliance truly shines. Klepper expertly unraveled Musk's self-congratulatory nature by pulling apart the narratives Musk has crafted for himself over the years. It's almost like watching someone expose a magic trick. Oh, you thought the rocket worked because you're a genius? No, it's because you have more money than God and an army of engineers who actually know what they're doing.
World's richest man and guy who looks like a wax statue of himself that you'd look at and say, "Man, that's a bad wax statue." Since the election, Trump's been getting something that Elon's 11 children will never receive: his full attention.
Elon Musk, who's been spotted at Mar-a-Lago basically since Election Day. He's been seen golfing with Trump and hanging out there at dinner.
He's one of the few people sitting in this makeshift situation room that they built in Mar-a-Lago.
Elon Musk has been weighing in on some of Donald Trump's potential picks, making it clear to the president-elect who he believes should have that role.
Ooh, good, good. The world's richest man is helping the president-elect run the country. I'm sure by the time Elon's done, his businesses will be unregulated, he'll have billions in new government contracts, and it'll be illegal to point and laugh at a Cybertruck.
And of course, there's Twitter. Ah, yes, the crown jewel of Musk's increasingly perplexing empire. Musk didn't just buy Twitter, he stomped around the place like an overeager toddler, throwing tantrums about free speech and firing employees like it was a game of whack-a-mole. Klepper hit the nail on the head by pointing out that Musk didn't buy Twitter to fix free speech, he bought it to fix his own ego. We all know Musk has a thing for controlling the narrative, and what better way to do that than by owning the platform that decides what everyone sees? And yet, in true Musk fashion, he managed to crash the entire platform with his over-the-top antics. It's like watching a guy proudly announce he's going to solve world hunger, only to accidentally spill all the food on the floor before getting around to cooking anything. But here's the kicker, Klepper didn't just roast Musk for being ridiculous, he mocked the entire concept of Musk as this larger-than-life genius. Musk has made a career out of being the cool tech billionaire who doesn't play by the rules, and Klepper expertly poked holes in that narrative by pointing out that, no, Musk isn't breaking the rules. He's just lucky enough to be rich enough to get away with it.
Retreating to his happy place, thinking about Arnold Palmer's giant Doge. And who thought cloning Stephen Miller was a good idea? I mean, is it for spare parts? I mean, they look like a before and even more before picture. Okay? Okay, but all right. Leaving aside this Renaissance painting done by the dogs playing poker guy, it's good that we have Elon Musk here, because we've been watching him slashing programs and shuttering agencies for a month now, and we can finally ask Elon, why are you doing this?
The fallout from Jordan Klepper's glorious roast of Elon Musk was, frankly, as entertaining as watching a grown man try to convince the world he's a genius while also playing with his $50,000 flamethrower. As soon as Klepper obliterated Musk on live television, the ripple effect was felt in every corner of the internet. Do they stand by their billionaire hero, or do they take a long, hard look at the man they've been worshiping and admit that maybe, just maybe, he's not the untouchable tech god they thought he was? The reactions were all over the place. Some of Musk's die-hard fans, who had apparently never seen a joke in their life, came out swinging in defense of their beloved messiah. They tried to claim that Klepper's roast was a sign of jealousy because, what else could explain it? Surely no one would mock the world's most important tech mogul unless they were secretly bitter about not being a multi-billionaire. These defenders threw out weak excuses like, he's a genius, you just don't understand? Yeah, buddy, we understand all right. But then, something beautiful happened. The other half of Musk's fan base, the ones with a sense of humor and maybe a slight grip on reality, started to see the light. They weren't just defending him anymore. They were laughing with the rest of us. The realization dawned on them like a slap to the face. Their hero was officially a punchline.
People have been raising alarms about how Trump seems to be handing way too much power over to Elon Musk. And yesterday, Trump replied, I hear you. You want me to give more power to Elon Musk.
President Trump setting new guidelines for hiring in the federal workforce while giving more power to Elon Musk and his team at the Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. A new executive order directs government agencies to pursue large-scale cuts, saying they now need hiring approval from DOGE.
Yes, Elon Musk is now in charge of all government hirings.
Even the wealthiest, most influential people could become the butt of a joke. It was a bit like watching someone finally see the emperor's lack of clothes, except the emperor was wearing a Occupy Mars t-shirt and tweeting about Dogecoin. That's a moment of clarity. And let's talk about Klepper's victory lap, because the man knew exactly what he'd done. This wasn't just a one-off moment. This wasn't just Klepper tossing a quick jab. No, this was a full-blown viral takedown that sent shockwaves through social media. By the time Musk figured out how to handle his Twitter account without accidentally offending everyone in the universe, Klepper had already turned this whole thing into a viral sensation. Now, let's talk about the long-term impact of this roast on Musk's image. Before this moment, Musk was the tech superhero, the guy who could shoot cars into space and get applauded for it. He was the cool billionaire, the guy you'd expect to see on a yacht making cryptic tweets while everyone else tried to figure out where they went wrong in life. That polished sheen of brilliance, it's now cracked, and it's looking a lot more like the shiny surface of a Tesla after a hailstorm.
Because it feels like I'm watching Drake sing Not Like Us at karaoke. Does he not know? Is having this one unaccountable bureaucrat in charge better than having those other unaccountable bureaucrats in charge? Because at least the others have to follow transparency laws. The only thing transparent about Doge is Elon's skin. I mean...
Musk may have tried to distance himself from this moment, but he can't escape it. Every time he tweets about space or AI or Mars colonies, someone's going to remember that time a comedian made him look like the rich kid who forgot to do his homework. For years, we've watched tech giants, Musk included, strut around thinking they could do no wrong. They thought they could shape public opinion, dictate trends, and get away with anything. But the moment Klepper roasted Musk, it shattered the illusion. The power of satire is a reminder that no one is untouchable. Not even the richest man on earth is immune to a well-timed punchline. It's a testament to the fact that no matter how rich you get, you can still get a reality check from a comedian. And that's not just funny, it's necessary. So, what's next for Musk? Can he bounce back from this humiliation? Can he regain that smooth, calculated aura of invincibility he's had for years? It's possible, but it's also unlikely, because this moment exposed Musk for what he really is, a billionaire trying to play with the big boys, but getting owned by a guy with a mic and a sense of humor. The cracks are there, and no amount of tweets or tech breakthroughs will be able to cover them up. This moment wasn't just a roast, it was a reset. It reminded us that Musk, like all the other tech moguls, is just human. And while he might control rockets and electric cars, he can't control how the internet will roast him for his next misstep. So, while Musk might be trying to figure out how to rebuild his image, Klepper's takedown will be remembered as the moment the mighty tech mogul became the internet's favorite joke. And honestly, we're all here for it. But why does all of this matter? Musk's reputation has been built on an image of an invincible tech mogul who's always 10 steps ahead of everyone else. Let's face it, there's only so long you can pretend to be untouchable when you're posting about rocket ships, flamethrowers, and bad tweets every 5 minutes. The best part about Klepper's takedown wasn't just that it was funny, it was that it was truthful. He didn't just rely on jokes, he dug into the heart of Musk's contradictory behavior and exposed it for what it is, a carefully crafted illusion that only works because too many people are afraid to call it out. Well, Klepper wasn't afraid, and that's why the roast was so devastating. And that's where we leave Musk, slightly red-faced, definitely embarrassed, and definitely not having the last laugh. Jordan Klepper took a sledgehammer to the myth of Elon Musk, and to be honest, it was about time. Now, Musk might go back to tweeting memes and pretending like everything's fine, but deep down, he knows what we all know. Jordan Klepper just humiliated him in front of the entire world. And honestly, it's been long overdue. So here's to Klepper, the real genius in this equation, who's probably laughing all the way to the bank while Musk is stuck trying to figure out why people are laughing at him, not with him. But whatever happens, one thing's for sure. Jordan Klepper isn't going to stop roasting the man who thought he could get away with anything. And honestly, we can't wait for the next round.